What is up, my veggies? My name is VTR, and welcome back to another movie review. And today we are reviewing um, another older film. Don't worry, I'll get around to some newer stuff soon. But today we are reviewing The Pagemaster. I rewatched this the other night, and I was actually extremely worried about this one because I grew up on this film, and I liked it growing up, but I didn't know it was gonna hold up. But before we get into that, let's read the synopsis. A, a storm forces frightened Richard Tyler inside a nearby library for shelter. The librarian sees that Richard needs an adventure and tries to give the boy a book, but all Richard wants is a phone. Before he can call his parents, Richard slips on floor and hits his head and passes out. When he wakes up, he finds himself in a fantasy land populated by famous literary characters. Now, going into this movie, I was terrified that it wasn't going to hold up. And here's the thing, I think it does hold up. I think it does hold up. I think there's a lot that kids can get out. There's like hair sticking up and everything. Anyway, I still think there's a lot that kids can get out of this movie. I think there's a lot that kids can get out of it still. It definitely feels like it's a trying to get kids to read more, and I think the epic scale of a lot of the stuff in this is a lot of fun for, and can definitely convince some kids to read. I don't want to talk about the animation. The animation, I think, it looks nice. I don't think it's anything spectacular. I do like some of the set piece, some of the creative imagery we see in the movie. You also have these three characters: horror, adventure, and fantasy, voiced by voiced by kind of Patrick Stewart, Whoopi Goldberg, and Frank Welker. And I think all three of these people do a pretty good job with the characters they're given. They have some good comedic moments. There are points where they can be a little generic and a little annoying. Specifically, horror can be a little annoying with some of his freakouts and everything. Can be a little annoying at points. But overall, I think the movie, it I feel like it references a bunch of these great literary characters, which they could have done better with. They go through like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Moby Dick, Long John Silver. That was right, right. And a whole bunch of other stuff is referenced and everything, which I feel like they could have done a lot more with those, like that stuff being brought up. I feel like there's a lot more to be done there than what was done. But overall, I think the movie definitely knows what it's here to do, does it relatively well, but also I got to get into some negatives. I think a bunch of the live action stuff in this is actually could be an interesting film on its own. And also I think um Macaulay Culkin in this, I don't think he sounds as uninterested as he does in like something like Home Alone 2 or something like that. But like I still think like I think when it's animated you can definitely, there's a little bit more better to it, especially towards the end. But also I don't think there's, it's okay. Performance is okay, as I would say. It's nothing to grand. I think the best performances, though, I do think are Whoopi Goldberg and Adventure. That's the most fun part, and also Christopher Lloyd. This movie has a pretty big cast. Um, a lot of book puns, which most of the time aren't really funny. I think I chuckled at like one of them, but I think I've chuckled at a few things. I was like, "That's not funny. Why did I laugh?" It's like one of those. The comedy in this movie is definitely, there's not much for like to get out of it from an older audience. I don't think a lot of the comedy is like great in that regard. I think overall the movie just is simple and does comes to do what it does, and I think does it okay. I don't think the movie is fantastic. I don't think it's over the moon insanity or anything like that. I just think it's just all right. Like, I don't think the movie's super great. I don't think that I don't really know what else. I feel like if you could have implemented the literature from literature and a little bit more, you probably could have done a little more with that. They kind of do with Mr. Hyde and they kind of do with Long John Silver. But I feel like there's so much more you could have done with it. There is some interesting imagery, some nice animation. Um, and it's a fun little adventure. But I feel like this movie is short. It's only like an hour, 15 minutes, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. The movie comes to do what, and it's a pretty inoffensive film. It's nothing. I don't think most adults are gonna get anything out of it. But if you grew up with this, I feel like it does hold up. I don't know if I'd say it's great, but I'd still say it's an all right film. Um, I don't love it like I did as a kid. 'Cause I loved this movie growing up. We watched it a lot. I remember the tape. I think I might still have it on VHS actually. Um, but but this movie is just overall just you know what you're going in for, and you kind of get what you get. Like there's so many concepts here that could have been elaborated on a little more and done a little better. But overall, I think the movie does a good job at what it's here to do. I don't think the live action parts, which is at the beginning and the end, are. I will say Christopher Lloyd is hamming it up in this performance. He plays the librarian and the pagemaster, which I think actually he's more animated in the live action scenes than he is in the actual animation, um, which is kind of weird to even point out. But overall, I think it's an okay film. I think it's just all right. Um, Critics give this movie a 19%. That is really low. I am actually very surprised on that one. Like that is low. Um, and audiences give it a 49, which is also pretty low for an audience review as well. Look, I also know people don't really I don't know. But yeah, that's where I stand on the film. I think it's okay. My rating personally, I think I just give this movie. I'm gonna go straight down the middle with it. I'm just gonna give it a 2.5. I don't think it's bad, but I think it's just an inoffensive film that really just comes and does the job that it's trying to do. Tells a simple adventure story about facing your fears and being and having courage and stuff like that. And I think it does those things relatively well. Um, I think there's not really much to really write home about it. I think you get what you come for, and well, yeah, that's really all I have to say. I don't think there's much else to elaborate on with this film. Have you guys seen the Page Master? What do you guys think of it? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's good? I one thing I think it would be interesting is to see this movie brought into the modern age. I would be interested to see like a sequel or remake or something of this. I think that would actually something that you could like slap on Disney Plus or something like that because I'm pretty sure it's 20th Century Fox that made this, which is now 20th Studios. So like you could totally or a TV series. A TV series I think would be a better route to go with this. Um, it'd be super interesting to see where they would go with the concept. I think it could be a lot of fun. I think it could be really funny. I think it could be over the top of doing it in modern day. Maybe they could do it better, and maybe. But yeah. Um, what do you guys think of this movie? Let me know down in the comment section below. And also, there's a whole bunch of stuff down there. You want to check all that out down there in the description. Definitely go check it out. But that's all I got to say this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see each and every one of you in the next video. Bye!